suffer. Every time X has to, for all kind of legal formalities, all kind of, in times when there is a financial trouble or in times when there is something, a complaint that has been reached by the bank, X has every time has to come up and has to stood up for Y. Now, with this, there is a contract which has been signed between X and Y. Now they say like, okay, we understand that at the time when we have signed a deal, Y or the person who was earlier representing the bank was very happy and we have drawn the contract on the basis of the discussion with that person. Now when you are looking for a change, now you have come up, your new person has come up in place of Y. Now when you have come up, we cannot change the solution or software solution over here. We have already signed the contract. Now it is on you to follow this contract. Now it's on you to kind of taking it further. Every time you just cannot complain on it. So here it is a kind of situation. Initially it was a win-win situation. Initially it was like computer software company and that both of them were in a win-win situation. But later on, it was just like they ran into a trouble with a new person on the board and they ran into a trouble. It was more about like I win, you lose. It was more about like I win, you lose, or you lose, I win kind of situation, or you win, I lose kind of situation. ऐसा चल रहा था like bank and software के बीच में. So this was kind of thing which where they didn't focus on how to solve it right. They didn't focus on what the solution would be. At this point of time, when bank is an unhappy customer, somewhere they were going to break their contract, and when there is a contract breach, there will be a huge loss that will be happening. It might be like a financial suicide for the software company, and it will be running into trouble for the bank also because they will be doing the contract shift. So here it is saying like if a deal hurts them, like if there is one party who is hurting in a deal, then it will definitely be the other party will also be hurting you. Like if you are on the other side, it will also be hurting you. So when we talk about a win-win requirement, there are three traits that we need to see. That I will be. I'll cut to this point here. Now, when we talk about win-win situation, we'll have to see 3 points, like 3 traits that are very essential. The first one is integrity. Integrity is like the value that you place on ourselves. Like you need to be very self-aware. You have to have a very independent will. Like you need to make and keep meaningful promises and commitment to yourselves and to others. Suppose you have started your own organization and you have made a commitment to your customers, where you need to make that promise, where you need to clear that commitment, where you need to fulfill that commitment. You need to make a meaningful promise, like until and unless I have not submitted, until and unless I have not delivered it to my customer, I am not going to deviate from my will. I have placed a date, like 25th is a date where I have committed to that I will be submitting. So be on 25th I will be submitting my whatever deliverables that would be submitted to the customers. So that is what integrity is. Next is maturity. Maturity is where you have a balance between courage as well as consideration. You must have enough empathy, you must have a good will to work for a win between yourself as well as your counterpart. And whoever the counterpart may be. Maybe the counterpart is a colleague of yours, maybe the counterpart is a customer of yours, maybe the counterpart is a family of yours. And here, you should have enough courage to make yourself win, and you should have enough courage and consideration that you see that your counterpart is also winning. And that will only happen when you have enough empathy that you understand what your counterpart is going through and you have a good will for work. Third is when you have an abundance mentality. Abundance mentality is you should understand that there is plenty out for everybody, which many people actually don't do. They think like we have to succeed ourselves. We do not know what others will be doing. Let others fail. आज अगर कहीं पे एक job requirement आया है, एक छोटा सा job requirement आया है, then let me go there. I shouldn't be informing that to my friends. Like I do not care. First, I should be seeing myself. That is called as your abundance mentality. Like आप हमेशा सोचते हो कि अच्छा ठीक है कहीं ना कहीं और उसको भी मिल जाएगा. It's not like चल हम दोनों साथ में जाते हैं. It doesn't happen. This is actually the thing which he is talking about. Like if you are looking for a win-win situation, you should have an abundance mentality. Like you shouldn't wish like people would be suffering from a misfortune. Neither you should wish like they should have terrible misfortune or any kind of misfortune to their should happen to them. When we talk about abundance mentality, it actually recognizes the possibilities for growth and success for potentially limitless, and it gives an opportunity to see what your own strengths are. आप जब directly किसी के साथ compete करने के लिए उतर आओगे, the first thing is that you should see is what your own strengths are, rather than seeing like what is his weaknesses are. This win-win kind of situation is a very powerful management tool that has been given. Peter Drucker has actually recommended this win-win situation in this very famous manager's letter, which he has where he has defined like what performance agreement should be between a boss and an employee. Okay, after a thorough discussion of the expectations, guidelines, resources, whenever that employee writes down the goals, whenever that employee writes down like what are the key areas that he will be performing to the manager, after summarizing the discussions, after setting the date of the review, performance review में जब वो goals key areas लिखते हैं, here the employee should keep in mind, or employee should be writing the discussion that has happened between him and the manager. That's what I say, like the performance agreement. And it should mainly focus on whatever key roles that they are writing. It should mainly focus on win-win situation. Like the boss should also be winning as well as the employee should be winning. Now, with the agreement in place, the employee has to manage themselves within a very framework of agreement. The manager here has to see like what are the things that are getting way in the when the employee is working. I'm sorry, I just got distracted a bit. Yeah, when an employee is working, when an employee is working for the achievement of those goals, the manager has to see, or the boss has to see like what are the things that are hindering his progress. The boss over here becomes the first assistant to that employee, and he has to understand the entire levels of administration, and he has to eliminate any kind of hamper, any kind of problem that is hampering the progress of the person. Now, like when we talk about this win-win situation, there is also a win-win situation in terms of compensation system, and that has replaced the win-lose compensation system. Like today, the rules has changed. Managers are only making money when the sales people are making money. So this kind of situation or this kind of area should actually be avoided, and the company, the people over there, the attitude has to be shaped as long as there is a win-win system, as long as there is a win-win strategy that is adopted among the people, then the company as a whole is going to progress. Now, I had elaborated the same things, whatever I had said in the slide, like how you are going to do a win-win situation when it is a team, how you are going to build a team, how the boss and the managers should have a talking. I will be forwarding it to you. I will be forwarding it to you for your thorough reading. Now I'll move to the next habit. Okay. The next habit says seek first to understand, then to be understood. It is a principles of empathetic communication. So what exactly it says? My slide is clear to you, right? You can see the slide, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
आवाज थोड़ा break हो रहा है, madam.
Okay. The fifth habit that we will be talking about is seek first to understand and then to be understood. This is one of the empathetic communication process. Like in this process, the first important word to know in mastering this habit is listening. How good you are in listening. People are never good listeners, neither are they good talkers. But remember, the good orators are those people, the people who continuously can, like the leaders who talk are actually the people who are good listeners. You can only be able to talk when you are good listeners. Now, when you listen to your colleagues or when you listen to your family, when you listen to your friends, you listen to your customers, listen to them, but not with an intent to reply them or not with an intent to manipulate them or not with an intent to convince them. जब भी आप बात करते हो, be it your colleagues, be it your family, be it your friends, be it your customers, just listen to them what they are showing with what they are telling without judging them or never with an intent of like I have to reply to them or I have to convince to them, I have to manipulate them. Like when if it is a customer, I have to manipulate them. If it is a friend or family, I have to convince them. Or if it is a colleague, I have to reply to them. Just listen to them. Listen to them in the terms like try to understand how the other party sees things. Like for you, there might be if there is a loss, it might be loss in terms of financial transaction for you, but then it might be a learning experience for you. So just listen, just try to understand what the other people is thinking, what the other person or other party is thinking about this current situation. Now, the very skill to develop or when you have to develop a listening skill, the very first thing is you need to have an empathy. Empathy, I remember I told you time and again, empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy is a form of agreement or judgment where you are ready to accept or when you are sympathizing with another person. Empathy is like when you are able to feel that feeling within yourself. ओके जैसे जैसे आप क्रिकेट मैच देखते हो अगर बॉल किसी को लगता है यू फील दैट कि अरे उसको उतना दुख रहा होगा when there is a six that is hit and बहुत जोर से जाता है then you react that is kind of empathy when you feel like you are in that situation. Now when we talk about empathetic listening is not that like you agree with someone. It's that you fully understand him emotionally as well as intellectually. Empathetic listening happens not only by the ears. Empathetic listening happens by eyes also. It happens to heart also, and it is a listening for feeling and it is a listening for meaning. It is very powerful because it actually gives you an accurate data about how the other person is feeling. Like instead of projecting, अभी फोन में क्लास में आपके साथ बात कर रहे, अभी फोन में जैसे मैं बात कर रही हूँ, the way I'm dealing with you, the way I'm projecting, the way I'm assuming that you people are listening and your thoughts and motives are in the class, it will not give you a clear vision. This is not empathetic listening. Empathetic listening happens with your ears, with your eyes also, and with your heart also. Like you have to see what is the facial expression. You have to see how they are delivering. Okay. Think of a situation like आप कभी रेडियो सुने हैं रेडियो में they say some kind of stories. When they say stories, you start imagining them in your head. Like they do voice modulation on the अगर स्टोरी ऐसे ही पढ़ के आपको सुना देंगे तो you will not be able to hear it now, you will be able to imagine it. But then they do certain kind of voice modulations where they give you an ample scope of imagining the things in your mind. So empathetic listening is something like that, when you have started feeling or when you have started understanding what that other person is saying. Okay. Now you can only work with someone very productively if you are able to understand that person, or if you are making an appropriate deposit in like if that X and Y, suppose like you and your friend X, now both you and X will be able to only work productively when there is an appropriate deposit in each other's emotional bank account. Like there is an ample amount of trust of X in you and you have an ample amount of trust in X. So So only in that matter, when your emotional bank account is rich in both of your case, then only you will be able to understand that person and that person will be able to understand you. Okay. This empathetic listening is actually a very powerful emotional deposit, and it provides the speaker with a psychological area. Like you have got an area, you have got an area, you have got to understand what is the perception of the other person, and you are actually, when you start understanding the perception of the other person, you have an additional solution to a problem. But then the only thing in empathetic listening is there should be an atmosphere of trust there. There should be once one atmosphere of trust is built up, once that you feel like the other person is understanding you, then only you will be able to solve this matter, or then only you then you will be able to achieve this habit. Okay, this is what I have, whatever I have told you is actually here. ये मैंने आपको डिटेलिंग करके दिया है. Like what is the importance of communication, how does it happens, and when it is mean of empathetic conversation is happening, like आप अगर किससे सुन रहे हो, like this is what you should be saying, and you should understand the meaning of what you are saying. You're not judging someone, you're not listening in the term of like you're manipulating. So this is what you should be saying. Okay, this is how you should listen. This is your emotional quotient that we had studied in the first subject. Okay. Giving you so that you can go through, you can read it. Okay, I just made you understand of what that habit is. So finish. Yeah, this is how like presentation as a form of communication, how you are going to present it. You should always know who your audience is. You should have a set clear of goals, like what you are going to make the audience understand. You should provide your qualification in terms like how much is your knowledge. There should be a clear language. Clear language does not have to be like if I am delivering, it doesn't have to be English. It can be Marathi. It can be Hindi also. Body language is another aspect. There should never be any kind of negative body language. If there is an aggressive kind of thing, then there is an extra movement of your hands and your face. If there is a facial expression, you are showing like if there is a voice modulation, you are making like important terms, you are highlighting. So those body language also form a part of your communication. You should know your subject. You should avoid the hesitation. Sometimes hesitation do happens, like when you see the audience face, you sometimes see there is a confusion in the face of some of the people. So that time it gives a very, it hits to your confidence level. So at that time there is a hesitation that happens. So you have to avoid that hesitation. You have to be an artist in the way like you are delivering. Artist is something like it's just like you're delivering your artwork. It's just like you're delivering the best in you. You're just giving it to the audience, and remember that you should learn from others. There should one person which you believe is very good in presentation. There should be one person which you believe that you are going to learn something from that person. Maybe some of the positive qualities, like how that person is presenting or how that person is dressed up. And you should always share your personal experiences to other people. And when there is a feedback, you should be gladly expecting that accepting that feedback, like other personal experiences. You should be sharing with your team members. If some of your team members are sharing their experiences, then you should gladly accept that yes, these things might happen. This is something I should keep in mind. So this is what empathetic listening is. I'll move in. This is your habit 6. Okay. So when we talk about habit 6, it is what do you say? Synergize. Okay. Like when we talk about this, think about the very beginning when you have done your college. Once you have done your college, every time you will have prepared yourself for your job. Every time you have prepared yourself, like you will be sitting in front of a panel of interviewers, and you will be the interviewer, and you will be giving there will be question answer sessions going on, and you will be giving an interview. Okay, like this is what your synergy is. Okay, this is what, like, all your life, time, all your time you would be thinking of, all your time you would be thinking of, like, how I am going to attend my interview. All of the time you would be thinking of, like, how I am going to, answer the questions that those interviewers will be asking me. Okay, I would put another scenario over here. It's just like, have you ever thought, any point of time, have you ever thought that you will be receiving an award on stage and there will be people who will be clapping for you? You'll be receiving a very prestigious award. And then have you ever imagined, like, at the time of receiving that award, what speech you would be giving? कभी आपने ऐसा सोचा है क्या? कभी भी that you are receiving an award, irrespective of what that award is, it doesn't matter if you are winning an award for a kabaddi match, or you are winning an award because you are the greatest contributor to your organization, or you are winning an award because you are one of the best employees, or you are winning an award because आपने कहीं पे बहुत अच्छा किया है, बहुत अच्छा किया है. I am getting a call. Could you please excuse me? That you have to sharpen is your social and emotional. Social and emotional is you need to have your synergy, you need to have your security. Sometimes insecurity is one of the negative points. You need to have empathy. Okay, you need to have a service towards the work that you are doing. The last shot that we have talked about, or which is very essential today, is your spiritual shot. Spiritual shots, you need to have a meditation in your life, you need to study, you need to have a spiritual aspect of your life. That is something which will help you in growing. Now, when we are talking about these 4 shots, like, you have to exercise all these 4 dimensions that I have to talk about to be very proactive. And this is something which no one else can do for us. It is something which is very urgent, and it is something which we have to do for us. Now, nobody is going to do exercise for us, nobody is going to eat for us. It is like we have to do the exercise and we have to eat also. Now, when we talk about, suppose, exercise is like most of us not that consistent enough to do. Like in this class of 30-35 students, if I ask like how many of you do exercise regularly, including myself, then I would guess like 60-70% of us say like we do not do exercise regularly. Like we do not have time for exercise. Do not have time for exercise. We don't have time not to do exercise. It's just like we are talking about like every day 1 hour exercise that we do. No, every day 10 minutes, every day 15 minutes, that can increase up to half an hour is something very, very big, something about a very big achievement in doing an exercise. So here we need to be very proactive. Every day we need to be scheduling ourselves like this is a time where we are going to do exercise. It's not like आज बारिश हो रही है, आज मन नहीं है, आज बहुत नींद आ रही है. These things are not going to happen. You have to be very proactive. You have to set a time for yourself, and then you have to do your exercise. Similar way, when we are reading or when we are planning something, we also allot a point of our time. We are also sacrificing something for it. Like how more time we are totally going to switch off our phone. We are totally going to not see the Netflix or any other YouTube or any other channels or say Instagram. We are sacrificing that part, and then we are reading something. Once we are reading something that will help us in visualizing and planning. So it is where you are, kind of like it is improving yourself. So when you are sacrificing that part, like if you would have seen Netflix over here, might be a stress management thing might have happened, but then reading and planning is very essential for your mental well-being. Okay. So when we talk about a spiritual dimension is something related to your core, to your center. It is just a commitment to all the principles that you have made for yourself. And people do it in a variety of ways. It doesn't have to be like you have to follow someone. Or when I talk about spiritual well-being, I'm not asking you that कोई भी बाबा के पास जाके ऐसे follow करो. No, it doesn't have to be. You can meditate. You can read some of the scriptures. भगवत गीता वगैरह जैसे रहता है. You can read some of the scriptures and you can immerse yourself in reading some other scriptures. आप दूसरे किसी का literature भी पढ़ सकते हो. दूसरे किसी का म्यूजिक भी सुन सकते हो. Rather you could also be sitting quietly with your nature. Okay. So these are the things which are very essential. Sharpen your talents. Every time you have to sharpen your physical skill set, you have to sharpen your mental skill set, you have to sharpen your social or emotional skill set. And then this is something which will help you in achieving this is a final prescription which the author has given you. This final prescription will help you in breaking the seal that you have covered yourself with. Once you move, once you have started following it, once you have started baptizing all those things, you are some or the other way on the way of being effective. So I covered the 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay. Somewhere covering it also, I read that whole book of 7 ways of highly effective people. It's one of the very nice books. If you used on if you start using that yourself, आप थोड़ा सा भी उसके ऊपर practice करते हो, then I believe you will be achieving great things here. Like all of you are in a move, all of you will be climbing this corporate ladder soon. So it will help you in kind of आपको डिसिप्लिन करने में बहुत आसान जाएगा. I'll be sharing the PPTs once I'm done with everything. I'll be sharing the PPTs on the group. Apart from that, we are done with your unit 2. We'll start with another book tomorrow. If I remember it clearly, it is 21 Laws of Leadership, I guess. We'll start with another book. This subject is one nice subject because you will be reading all the good books. Like आपको पता चलेगा कि what these books are and what you will be doing it. Okay. Any doubts? Anything more you want to ask me? Any doubts? Anything you want to ask me?
मैडम इस पे अभी बुक पे पीपीटी कैसे आएंगे मैडम?
इस पे ना कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है. Like I cannot comment on anything. मुझे भी नहीं पता है ये. Like this is the very first thing that we will be doing our exam. एक बार वो एग्जाम पैटर्न्स का मीटिंग हो जाए ना, तभी हमें पता चल जाएगा कि इसमें कैसे आएगा. अभी तक वो एग्जाम पैटर्न का मीटिंग नहीं हुआ है. This is totally new for us, totally new for me, totally new for you.
तो हमें मतलब पूरा बुक पढ़ना पड़ेगा?
मैं जितना देती हूँ आपको, मैं बोली ना, थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट समझना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा सा अगर आपको ध्यान देना पड़ेगा कि जैसे 7 लॉज क्या है, तो 7 लॉज आपके मुंह में होना चाहिए.
ठीक है मैम.
ऐसे पे आएगा वो. So this is totally new. I myself is not able to tell you कि कैसे आएगा.
ठीक है, मतलब मैंने एटलीस्ट पीपीटी कंप्लीट करना है.
पीपीटी अच्छे तरह से मैं आपको दे रही हूँ. आप वो पीपीटी को पढ़ लीजिए, आपको हो जाएगा. लाइक पहला चैप्टर इज अ बुक, इट्स कॉल्ड एज इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. सेकंड चैप्टर इज अ बुक कॉल्ड एज द 7 हैबिट्स ऑफ हाईली इफेक्टिव पीपल. योर थर्ड चैप्टर इज आल्सो अ बुक, द 5 dysfunctions of a team. I'm not talking about 5 functions of a team. We are talking about 5 dysfunctions of a team. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. Anything more you need?
No, ma'am.
I'll leave the class then.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.